We got another action-packed episode of Monday Night Raw after Money in the Bank. Brock Lesnar showed up for a brawl with Cody Rhodes. We got some great matches. You got an in-ring debut of Maxine Dupree as Seth Rollins took on Dominic Mysterio. Damian Priest tried to cash in his Money in the Bank contract, but before that could happen, Finn Balor attacked Rollins, leading to a halt in the cash-in. So an action-packed episode of Monday Night Raw, and let's get straight into things. And Raw started off this week with a recap of Money in the Bank before Seth Rollins made his way out to the ring to celebrate his win over Balor. He reminded us SummerSlam was only 5 weeks away before Cody interrupted him. Before Cody could speak, Brock came out and Cody ran after him. Cody here, Cody cut before they headed backstage to continue the brawl. Back from the break, Rollins was still in the ring when we got the Judgment Day's arrival. Balor was missing and Rollins asked if they were having issues in the group, but Ripley denied it. Priest threatened to cash in on Rollins before taking up Dominic as a possible title challenger as well. The champ was unfazed and said he would start a moustache off his face if Dominic were to face him in a match. And yeah, good start to Monday Night Raw, intertwining two stories. Cody Brock, that was always the inevitable direction. Can't wait for that to understand. Judgment Day tensions and yeah, teasing match with Ryan. So yeah, really got to start to Raw and I can't wait to see where it goes. And we then had our first match of the night involving a member of the Judgment Day, Damian Priest. He took on Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura was able to dodge the early offense from Priest and got some kicks in. Priest sent Nakamura outside and tossed him into the barricades. Back in the ring, Shinsuke managed to reverse some big moves and tried to get him in the armbar. Damian got a kick to the head, but Nakamura dodged the Razor's Edge and the South of Heaven before hitting a top rope knee drop. Priest then dodged a Kinshasa, but hit the South of Heaven before on his next drive getting the win. And yeah, this gets 7 out of 10 for me. Obviously, for Money in the Bank's first match, he kind of had to get the win, and yeah, worked really nicely here. Great match, great promo, and like I say, can't wait to see where that all leads going into SummerSlam. And more, I'm loving the idea of Priest as Money in the Bank. Ronda was out next, and Shayna came out and told her that she had been on Raw recently. She reminded Ronda that she was in WWE because of her, but managed to get a WrestleMania appearance since day one. A brawl broke out and Rousey tried to sleep her, but Baszler turned it into an ankle lock when hit a cake to the face and walked out. Rousey tried to yell at her from the ring, but Shayna was done. And yeah, really going into this feud in SummerSlam. Kind of understandable why it happened now, but yeah, I just can't wait for the match at SummerSlam. Maybe for Ronda's parting gift. Yeah, it's going to be really good. But it's then time for women's tag team turmoil. Indy and Candice v Sonya and Chelsea. Indy and Sonya started things off, and Candice was tagging early. Chelsea Green came in as well as Seville managed to eliminate their opponents with a running knee and a pin on Lorray. Nikki Cross and Emma entered. Nikki attacked Chelsea right off the bat before following Lorray out to ringside. Emma came in and got some big moves in the near for a while. Nikki was nowhere to be seen. Emma took Deville on the apron before she spotted Nikki on the floor and started crying. Emma was outnumbered in the ring and Deville managed to pick out the pin on her. Tegan Nox and Dana Brooke were in next and took a beating during the break before Deville got the pin on Nox with a running knee. Carter and Chance were out next and Chance took Green to the top rope before Chance joined him for a huge double team move. Green came out with arm prettier on Carter and picked up the win. Deville and Green will face the women's tag champions in a match next week. And yeah, I thought that really nicely, to be honest. It gets 6 out of 10 for me just because the matches in between I wasn't convincing them, but yeah, big win for the heels. They kind of come out of nowhere starting off. I thought maybe it might be Chance and Carter coming in last, but no, they get it. And yeah, proper tag team, 2 proper tag teams going on it, and I think that definitely makes the scene a lot more interesting. Of course it does. So yeah, looking forward to that. 6 out of 10. Becky was out next and called out Trish, who came in the mask since her face was broken at Money in the Bank. They argued about who was the GOAT, and before Becky talked about Zoe being a sidekick for Trish. Becky challenged Trish to a match, but that was not medically cured. Trish was about to send Zoe to break Becky's face, but then realised she had a doctor's appointment before heading out. Classic heel stuff, all leading to a match between Becky and Trish at SummerSlam, obviously the blow off. So yeah, that worked really nicely. And Jake probably going to get a TV match at some point as well, but yeah, good little promo battle, face v heel, kind of worked nicely. So yeah, good stuff. Cody was out at ringside for an interview with the newest member of the Raw announcing Jackie Redmond. Cody said he'd always been ready to fight Brock Lesnar at any time, hoping for a match at SummerSlam, which seems inevitable, and looking forward to it before he called Alpha Academy versus the Viking Raiders. Maxine Dupree was about to make her Raw ring debut. Gable and Eric kicked off the match and got a big diving headbutt. Maxine came in with a Stinger splash on Valhalla before he headed for an all-out brawl. Maxine attempted the worm but was kicked in the face by Valhalla. Chad and Otis wiped out the Raiders while Maxine came back with a sunset flip and rolled Valhalla up for the win. Big win for the Alpha Academy. And Maxine Dupree, loving the stuff they've all done there, and how it's all going. Maxine was already over here, great to see her make her own wing debut, and yeah, it was a not a bad match at all considering the situation. It gets 6 out of 10 from me. Ricochet was backstage and said that Logan Paul made things personal and challenged into match at SummerSlam. Probably wanted to get Logan a win, but yeah, still it's going to be really high flying. And after what happened at Money in the Bank, definitely makes sense. Rhea Ripley took on Natalia in a women's title match on Raw. Rhea was making her way out when Natalia attacked her and sent her into the barricades and the steel sets. The match kicked off and both women got inside the ring. Natalia tried for a sharpshooter, but Rhea fled the ring before driving her into the announcer's desk. Back after a break, Natty took a beating, but countered the dive from Rhea with a kick. Natty then got a running powerbomb and locked in the sharpshooter, but Rhea found the bottom rope. Ripley came back with the riptide and picked up the win. And yeah, gets 7 out of 10 from me. This was, compared to what we've seen in past opportunities too, I thought that was just going to be another one of those, but it definitely wasn't. This was a hard-hitting match and worked really nicely, much better. And yeah, more of these sorts of matches. Ripley and Natalia were both great here. Rhea attacked Natty after the match, but Recco and Liv came out to make it save as well, possibly teaching a future direction as well there. So yeah, on the whole, good stuff, 7 out of 10. Ciampa and Miz then had competing promos where Ciampa called Miz a coward. The A-lister reminds him that the last guy who was seemingly called him no longer in WWE, seemingly referring to AEW star Bryan Danielson. Judgment Day was then backstage and said that they hadn't heard from Finn Balor since Money in the Bank, obviously teasing tensions for it was time for Riddle v Vinci. Riddle got a quick win with a roll up before the rest of Imperium attacked him. McIntyre came out and took Vinci and Kaiser out before staring Goods down at ringside. Drew hit Claymore and Vinci before the Imperium retreated. 6 out of 10, set out that feud, but it was just kind of there before the main event. Drew and Riddle were backstage and the latter proposed they team up in the near future, which is interesting. Considering SummerSlam, could there be tensions there? Who knows? But yeah, interesting to see where that goes. But it's then time for Seth Rollins v Dom Mysterio on Raw. Dom was taking a beating early on, was sent outside before Damian pushed the Ciampa off the ropes, letting Dom take control. Rollins took a splash before getting some clotheslines and a backstabber, followed by a running knee. Dom was then sent outside before Rollins hit a big dive. Rollins was headed for the stomp, but Priest came in with a South of Heaven before tossing Rollins outside as the ref called off the match. Priest was destroying Rollins at ringside and sent him face first into the announcer's table, but Rollins managed to escape the Razor's Edge on the table. Dom attacked Rollins from behind and stopped the pedigree before his team urged Priest to cash in. Finn Balor came in before Priest could call it and attacked Rollins. Balor and Priest got into a shouting match. Rollins hit Mysterio with the pedigree and fled the scene. And yeah, this gets a 7 out of 10 from me. This was really, really good. The tension within the Judgment Day is really starting to show, and it's all going to lead to a big payoff at some point with the Judgment Day. Priest could lead to failed cash in or the breakup of Judgment Day. It kind of seems likely at this point. But yeah, I'm very intrigued to follow this and see where it goes. Another good story created by long-term storytelling. 7 out of 10 for me. Good stuff. Overall, WWE Raw this week gets 7 out of 10 for me. Yeah, I thought it was a really good episode of Raw this week. The tensions within the Judgment Day left the show on a cliffhanger. Loads of stuff before that as well was really good. Setting up Cody v Lesnar, starting to build to SummerSlam really with a lot of these matches as well, which is good to see that starting nice and early. So yeah, 7 out of 10. Good stuff. Really enjoyed it. But anyway, guys, that's it for you. Thanks so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. No thoughts coming down below for daily wrestling news. Subscribe to the channel. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.